Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Junkyard Dog Report. Great game last night. We got a nice win against the Thunder. As you can see, 110-102. What's up, everybody? Great bounce back win after the tough loss we took to the Kings. So let's get right into it, right? Obviously, as you all know, a big Spider Don was out again. For some reason, I can't see Spider Don right now, even though I just pulled him up. Oh, great. It's looking like my pictures ain't going to work today. That's kind of rough. But Donovan Mitchell's out. LeVert is starting. So, he did his thing. Let's get going. So the Cavs came out hot. Definitely wanted to get some revenge for the last game against the Kings. They came out with a nice 8-2 run. Unfortunately, the Thunder responded with a 5-0 run of their own. And then the Cavs went on a 6-0 run to respond. And there were a lot of runs in this game, for sure. So you're going to hear me saying that a lot. But, basketball sometimes just a game of runs, so games like this do happen. And, as long as our runs are bigger than theirs, you're going to win in those games. So, moving on, we had really good ball movement in this game for the most part. And Darius Garland might not have had his best shooting night, but he definitely had a good night in terms of being the orchestrator of this offense, specifically in the second half. So moving on, we definitely had great effort on the boards by everyone, specifically Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were working on the boards last night, so that was definitely great to see. And something that was awesome was LeVert's poster. I don't remember if he was Jerome Robinson Earl or Mike Muscala, but LeVert absolutely put him on a poster. It was awesome. I didn't know Vert had a Vert like that, but very cool. We won the first quarter 28-22. Which is great. We always want to be scoring near 30 points in a quarter. It's always a good thing. On to the next. In the second quarter, we're doing some good things. Definitely moving the ball really well. Definitely great to see because that's the lifeblood of this team, is the team. So definitely great to get everyone involved. Something that was really cool is that LeVert in this game was hitting his catch-and-shoot threes really well. And something I've been saying is that he's had trouble when he's coming off the bench, specifically hitting the catch-and-shoot threes because he's used to getting his buckets off of iso ball and dribbling and doing things by himself. So I think the confidence that he'll get from this game should help him when he moves back to the bench. I really hope it does because a lot of you don't like LeVert. I really like LeVert. He's done everything that's been asked of him since we got him. He's been in so many different roles. So if he can finally get going with the catch-and-shoot threes and he can be our little Jetty 2.0 off the bench, then that would be huge for us. And so moving on, we definitely had great effort on the glass, like I said earlier, on the offensive and defensive end, which is huge. It was a back-and-forth quarter to start for the second, a little tit-for-tat action, but we hung in there. We hung tough. LeVert had 17 first-half points, so definitely hopping on his hype train, especially for the first half. He wasn't as good in the second half, but, when you're that good in the first half, they have to find a way to stop you, so definitely big props to him. We had a little bit of trouble in the second quarter on the inside in the paint. There was a point where the Thunder made 5 straight field goals in the paint on us, and so that can't happen. Our identity defensively, as you all know, lies in the paint, protecting the paint, keeping other teams out of the paint, and forcing them to shoot because it's easier to make a layup than it is to make a three-point shot, even if you're Steph Curry. So that was definitely rough to see, but we finished the half off strong. We finished on an 8-2 run in the second quarter, which was great to see. And like I told you, Vert had 17 first-half points, which was great. We won the second quarter, 31-24. Not another 30-point quarter because we only scored 28 in the first, but that's 2 really good offensive quarters in a row. And that's why the second half was really disappointing, to be completely honest with you. The Thunder came out to start the third quarter, and they clearly had revenge and winning on their mind. Not revenge, but you know what I mean. They started off the third on a 5-2 run, which was rough. We had great effort on both ends of the floor all night, and it was a little back and forth after that run, but you never want to let the other team set the tone for a quarter. You definitely want to be the one that comes out swinging, not the one who comes out and gets swung at. So that's a little rough, but something cool. Jared Allen got his 1,000th offensive rebound of his career in this game in the third quarter with like a minute left. So that was really cool. Congrats to Jared Allen for Ohio, the man, the myth, the legend, a nerd just like all of us. And the effort, as I just said, was fantastic in this game for the most part. And the second half, the Thunder won the second half just straight up. Like the Thunder beat us in the third 26-23. They also won the fourth quarter, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But they came out swinging with heavy punches. They were going for the knockout blow to start the fourth. They started the fourth on like a 17-4 run. I mean, that was crazy. And something that I loved, and I really hope this will show up because for some reason my pictures haven't been showing up. Something I loved was when Evan Mobley hit that big three to not to take the lead. I'm pretty sure it was 94-93 at the time, or it was 91-91, something like that. Ev hit a big three that put us in front, and is very reminiscent of the game we played against the Pistons on the road recently because Ev hit that three, and from then on we never lost the lead. We went on a 5-0 run after that, and yes, the Thunder responded with a 4-0 run. We had some silly turnovers, but we came back swinging after that 4-0 run. We went on a 10-0 run after that, and that's what really closed out the game for us. Something cool is that LeVert had his first back-to-back 20-point game as a Cavalier, but our defense is really what carried us. Also, Evan Mobley in the fourth quarter. So we forced a 24-second violation on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on a play where the game was still within reach, probably 1 or 2 possession game. Lamar Stevens locked him down, threw him in the jail cell, and threw away the key. And it forced a 24-second violation while he was just trying to make something happen. And you're talking about arguably one of the best scorers in the NBA. The man is averaging over 30 points a game this season. And I know it's annoying to watch a guy who gets a lot of free throws, and I don't blame anyone who feels that way because I feel the same, especially watching a guy like that against the Cavs. It's just annoying watching a guy parade to the free throw line when it feels undeserved. And it's a good thing I left this something I loved graphic up because I forgot about it, because I loved that Evan Mobley had 12 fourth quarter points. So when it mattered most, Ev came to play, and that's great to see because if he keeps this up, he's only going to keep growing and getting better. And in those times where we need him and maybe DG and Donovan Mitchell aren't having the best night, give it to Ev, let him take over the game and lead us to victory. So that is awesome. The defense was absolutely clamping in the fourth. Like, there was a point at the end where they started to like score a little bit, but at that point it felt like garbage time. So honestly, kind of irrelevant overall in my opinion. But great end to this game. Great job finishing. And I mean, we almost did choke this game away. We had a 17-point lead and they cut it to 1. But I mean, it's tough when you have Kevin Love, Dean Wade, Ricky Rubio, Donovan Mitchell. I'd say Dylan Windler, but he doesn't really play much, no offense. So it's definitely tough with those guys out to finish games, specifically Donovan Mitchell, who carries us so hard offensively. And what JB had to say about us almost choking that 17-point lead was, we can't continue to do the same things to ourselves, and mostly through self-inflicted wounds. So we have to be better. And I forgot to put this up. But, I mean, he's absolutely right. It's always seems like in critical moments, and I'm not just blaming Darius Garland here because I feel like he finished the game great, but he has had a tendency this season to overthink things and try to do too much, which has led to turnovers. But at the same time, he wasn't really doing this last year, so I feel like just give him a little bit. He has to get used to being in this role with Donovan Mitchell with him. So give him a little bit of time, and hopefully he'll be better when it matters most, because he was the man last season. He was so clutch. And even just a few weeks ago or a week ago against the Timberwolves, however long ago that was, he was so clutch in that game. So Just give him a little time. I think he'll be fine, to be honest. I think it's just a little bit rough. And what JB had to say about Darius Garland and how he really didn't do too much scoring in the fourth was they did a good job of crowding the floor on the perimeter. So they're forcing you to get off the ball. And I think, again, he just made the right plays and he got off of it. He wasn't playing a selfish game. And that's how DG was playing most of the night. He started off the game kind of looking for a shot, but once he started dishing rather than hunting, I feel like he not only looked more confident, but he was just playing better. And when the Thunder went on their 17-4 run, yeah, DG had a couple bad turnovers. But once we responded and we took the game and we finished, DG wasn't making mistakes. He was making the right plays at the right times, finding the right guys, getting the hockey assists, the actual assists, whatever needed to be done, getting the ball out of his hands when he was getting trapped, all those sorts of things. So credit to him for fighting through what was a tough night for him, finding a way to get like 8 assists. So good on DG. Moving on, the guy who carried us in that fourth quarter, at least scoring-wise, what JB had to say about Evan Mobley, he said, I thought he was a force, I thought, he was, playing with the determination to make sure that we finished the game the right way. And something that I love about Ev, and something that I've loved about him since last year, since we first got him, even from his first game, something that I saw was that he doesn't care about the stat sheet. Like, Ev can score 2 points in every single game, but if we go 82-0, the man couldn't care less. His only goal when he steps on the court is to win, and that's what I love about him, and that's why I love seeing him take over with the game on the line like he did last night. Moving on. What JB had to say about Lamar Stevens and his fantastic defense on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He said, I thought he did a really good job of making him take, difficult shots. And he also said, Lamar is a hell of a one-on-one defender. And he is. I mean, Lamar has stepped up big time. Like, if you told me before the season that Lamar Stevens was going to be our best wing defender, straight up, I wouldn't have thought it was too crazy, but I would have assumed that Okoro would take the leap and he'd be the best wing defender. And, I mean, unfortunately, that hasn't happened, but it's not like it's from a lack of trying. Okoro was great defensively last night. He had a few bad plays, but other than that, I'm pretty sure he had 2 blocks in this game, or at least 1, which he was big time defensively last night. It's just that Lamar has taken it to another level, and you just got to respect the guy who was undrafted to grind as hard as he's been grinding these last 3-4 years to get to this spot where he's starting and playing such great defense on elite guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, all these sorts of guys. So Lamar Stevens is a stud. I love that man. Quintessential junkyard dog. Man is a legend. Moving on, what JB had to say about the bench stepping up was that's who our bench is. I think Jetty, he's an energy player that gives everybody else around him energy. Raul comes in and he's disruptive, Isaac the same. Rolo. Everybody who stepped out there tonight, wanted to make a positive impact. And, the bench stepped up big time, right? Especially considering we had 8 guys play 2 nights ago, and we had 9 guys play last night. The only guy who played last night who didn't play the night before was Robin Lopez, and he only played 5 minutes. So you're talking about a lot of guys playing with tired legs. So the bench stepped up big time last night, and you will see that when we go over the stats. But I have one more quote here, and it's what JB had to say about LeVert with Donovan Mitchell out. And he said, like we've seen, Karras carries offenses, so we know what he's capable of. And JB wasn't saying that about our team because he does not carry our offense. We all know that. He was saying that about the Karras who scored 51 with the Nets, who scored 40-something, 42 with the Pacers like the night before we traded for him with the Pacers last season. So if we can get that guy in limited minutes off the bench, it's going to be huge for us coming down the line. And I think we will get that coming down the line when it matters most because Karras is a guy who steps up. And moving on, so the big 4 versus the rest really shows you how much not just the bench stepped up, but everyone stepped up. So the big 3, because Donovan Mitchell didn't play, so the big 3 had 55 points, and 42 came from Jarrett and Evan Mobley, who had 21 each. The rest had 55. So that's a great split right down the middle, 55-55. 32 of those points from the rest came from LeVert and Lamar Stevens, but the bench might have had only like 23 points, but you can't discount their impact in this game at all. Moving on, the big three had 26 rebounds, 12 from Ev, 11 from Jared Allen. The rest had 22, 7 from Lamar Stevens, and I mean, it was a great job. I love when Evan Mobley out-rebounds Jared Allen because, to be honest with you, Jared Allen is a better rebounder in my opinion, and Ev, it's going to take a little time for him to potentially overtake Jarrett, but I mean, it just shows his attention to the glass because sometimes it felt like last season that he was like, oh, Jarrett's going to get the rebound, let me run up ahead on offense, or either Jarrett's going to get the offensive rebound or we're playing defense, so I'm going to go back on defense. And so definitely great to see Ev crashing the glass and out-rebounding Jarrett. And now moving on, the big three had 12 assists, 8 from Darius Garland, and the rest had 13, and 8 of those came from LeVert and Raul Neto, who had 4 apiece, which is honestly a great split. 25 assists in a game. Like, we've had games where we've only had 12 assists, so definitely great to keep it over 20, and if we can start hitting 25 plus, we'll be unbeatable in my opinion. So moving on, the big three had 3 steals, 2 from DG and 1 from Jared Allen. The rest had 3, and all 3 were Lamar Stevens. Lamar definitely had a case for Junkyard Dog last night, but I mean, the way Ev stepped up and carried us to finish the game, it's like Ev swooped in at the end just to take it from him. But moving on, the big three had 1 block, and it was Jared Allen. The rest had 3, 2, like I said, from Okoro, and 1 from second place for Junkyard Dog last night, in my opinion, Lamar Stevens. And the overall turnover numbers are good. It's just bad for DG when you frame it in the fact that the big three had 9 turnovers, 6 from DG, and the rest have 2. And any of you who've done the math already can see that Darius Garland had 6 turnovers and the rest had 5. So not only does he have a lot of turnovers, but he's out turnovering the entire team. And I don't even know if turnovering is a real word, but you get what I mean. Moving on to the plus minus. So Lamar Stevens led the way. He was only a couple off his plus-minus record as a starter of plus 17. He was plus 15 in this game in 31 minutes and 4 seconds. Following him up was your Junkyard Dog, Evan Mobley, who was plus 9 in 36 minutes and 50 seconds. And I just got to say, shout out to Big Ev, who played over 40 minutes the night before and then played 37 in this game. I mean, it's big time. So moving on, DG was plus 9 in 33 minutes and 59 seconds. And honestly, shout out to, DG and Jared Allen as well, who obviously played a lot of minutes in both games. I just specifically shouted out Ev because he played over 40 minutes against the Kings. And he played more minutes than DG and Jared Allen in this game too. So moving on, Jarrett was plus 6 in 36 minutes and 44 seconds. Karis LeVert was plus 6 in 38 minutes flat. And he had a great game, at least in the first half. Scoring was a little down in the second, but I really hope he gets some confidence from this game, and that boosts him to be better when he's coming off the bench. Moving on, Robin Lopez was plus 3 in 5 minutes and 11 seconds. And like I told you guys earlier, we only had 8 guys play against the Kings. We had 9 guys play against the Thunder, and the one who didn't play against the Kings was Robin Lopez, and he only played 5 minutes and 11 seconds in this game. So it shows you how much this team put into this, considering they're all running on tired legs. And now we're getting into the minuses, which in my opinion aren't a very big deal because, like I said, everyone's out there with tired legs doing their thing. Raul Neto, who I think gave a great spark off the bench, was minus 1 in 13 minutes and 42 seconds. Isaac Okoro, who had 8 points and 2 blocks in this game, was minus 3 in 18 minutes and 57 seconds. And Jetty Osman was minus 4 in 25 minutes and 33 seconds. And, I mean, to be honest with you, I couldn't care less about those minuses. They don't mean anything to me. Like, when you're running on tired legs, like, that's going to happen. It is what it is. But moving on to the shooting percentages for this game. We shot 47.1% from the field, which isn't great, but not terrible. Definitely love to get that above 50 and keep it above 50. We're 40 for 85, so not too far off, but definitely want to keep it above 50. We were 37.5% from 3, 12 for 32, and kind of the same as I said for the field goal percentage. Definitely want to get that above 40, keep it above 40. And we were close, so not that big a deal. I think the biggest deal is on the free throws, where this is the first time since I've been doing my videos that we dipped below 70%. And I was giving the team some slack when we were dropping below 80%. So this is definitely rough. I mean, it was 69.2%, which not that big of a deal. But when you consider the fact that we were 18 for 26 from the free throw line, and in just 2 trips, we missed 4 free throws. Looking at you, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, that changed the whole percentage. We would have been 22 for 26 or 20 for 26 if they either split or hit both of those free throws each. And then we're talking about 2 trips to the free throw line that completely tanked the percentage from the free throw line. So it is what it is. Great team win, great effort, great way to bounce back. I believe we're playing San Antonio on the road next, so they're not a very good team, just to put it frankly. Let's go get that dub. Let's get a nice win streak going. And until next time, keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs. Peace out and enjoy your NFL Sunday, homeboys.